All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA video, another video where we talk about expansion teams and their logos. Seems like I do one of these every 3 months, which is fine by me. I love talking about the logos and the fonts, and eventually what will come is the jerseys. I want to talk about the Portland Fire, what was a women's basketball team. I wasn't aware that they were a WNBA team. Maybe that just snuck by me. I never knew they had a team up until like the past couple months when they started talking about Portland might get a team. And here we are. They have the logo and they have their name finally. They are joining the Toronto Tempo next year and joining the WNBA. The Toronto Tempo got a little bit of a head start on them, but I think this is all planned out, going according to plan. Announce one team, wait a couple months, announce another team, wait a couple months. We just talked about a couple of teams getting announced to get WNBA expansion teams, those being Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia, coming in the latter half of the decade. So if you want to check out my video where I talk about that, I'll put a card in the top right corner. Just click it. And yeah, if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So, what makes me an authority to talk about logos and fonts and everything? I used to work with a lot of logos in a past career. I've seen a bunch of terrible logos in my lifetime. I've seen far too many, probably, and I've seen a lot of good ones. And the good ones are the ones that stand out to me. And this logo stands out to me. We're going to talk about the deeper meaning that the teams try to convey more recently with their logos, and of course, with the Portland Fire. And we're going to talk about some other things. We have um, what their GM, their interim GM, her experience. We're going to talk about some of the story coming out alongside this rollout for the team. And we're going to talk about WNBA All Star Weekend stuff because they announced the 3-point contest and the skills contest participants. So I do want to say this Portland Fire part will take up a large majority of the video, but we will talk about All Star stuff. So you guys get all the information you come here for. Anyways, let's where do I want to start? I want to talk about how they teased this. They teased this 2 days ago. Um, they put this on their socials. It was a screenshot of the old team and one of their players walking through the um, the stands, and it has a Portland, Oregon Moda Center in the top right and top left, and then you have "Our Fire Never Died" um, for the caption, and they teased that. They were hinting the return of the Portland Fire name, and it did come true, and it came out. Was this yesterday that it is official? The Portland Fire will return to the WNBA. Now, I want to talk about the logos. Just I'm gonna go through. I have a thing pulled up here that will tell me what these are, what these logos are supposed to mean. I'm just gonna give my base reaction to this logo without any knowledge of what they mean or anything. So we'll find out together, and you can hear my honest opinion. I'm gonna be quite honest. The P, the one on the left, the right side here. I like what they were going for. I really do. Whenever I see this font and whenever I look at any letters that like have this like sort of flair to them, so to speak, all I can think of is the Firestone tires and nothing else. Maybe the Portland Fire will change that in like 5, 10 years. I'll just think of the Portland Fire when I see this logo, but all I see is like the Firestone logo, and I hear the guy in the commercials, Firestone tires. Like that's all I see and hear when I look at the P. It is a good logo. Um, it would look great on a hat. It would look great on a printed on a T-shirt. Um, I hope they don't use this one too much because the one to the left, this rose with the fire coming off of it, mwah, beautiful, beautiful use of the colors of the gradient. I'm not a huge fan of gradients all the time, but in this logo, it looks great. Um, it's the simplicity of it, but also like if you look at it long enough, you can see what it is. Immediately, you don't know what it is. It just looks like a flame, but you can't see the rose in it. I think there's some other little Easter eggs in here, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk about the logo and the font on the top. I like the logo on the top and with the font better than the one on the bottom. The one on the bottom just looks boring to me. Even though the font's interesting, it's like a little gothic. It's a little what do you call that? Abrasive because it has the slashes through the F and the A and the elongated center of the E and the top and the bottom of the E, and like it looks really good. But I like when teams replace letters with their logo, and the top is just so much better. It's superb to me. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see how they abbreviate it. Is it just gonna be the rose and the fire? Is it just gonna be Portland and then the fire? It's gonna be very interesting to see how they condense the lettering because Portland Fire is a long word. Um, and I don't think necessarily you would put the whole name on the jersey. You just put Fire or Portland on like the home and away jerseys or just the logo. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with the jerseys. I think the jersey color is gonna be amazing. If this orange, red to pink to white is any indication of the jerseys, they're gonna look amazing. Um, so yeah, let's dive in here. I have a Reddit page pulled up here, WNBA r/WNBA, with some little Easter eggs and more information about and details about the logo here. The first one up is the P logo, the Firestone logo. Um, and it says under it, it says the Portland Fire, quote, P represents the city we play for. Okay, very, very subtle nod. Okay. Um, okay, and now they have the P, um, just the outline of the P with the mountain in the background. And it says the highest peak in Oregon, the top of Mount Hood graces the top of Mount Hood graces the top of our P icon. So I guess the top here, if you're looking at the P logo, is supposed to represent the mountain, and then the flares and curves of the P are inspired by the elegance and strength of a rose. Okay, sure, sure, whatever it means to you, I guess. Next up is the red Portland Fire on the bottom of your screen. Um, the Portland Fire word mark is inspired by the 12 bridges that connect our city. 12. One, two, three. Oh, I guess there, yeah, Portland Fire is 12 letters. Yeah, okay. I mean, shit. That's pretty cool. Coincidental, but cool. Let's see. Okay, so some more detail about the actual font and stuff. This is the word mark. Um, crafted from the organic beauty and architectural precision of the bridges that bridge our community together. They're talking about the bottom of the specifically on this one. They're talking about the R in Portland. They're talking about the bottom of the R. I guess the what would you call that? The flare at the bottom. Yeah, the flare at the bottom. Yeah, I didn't want to use the same word, but that's the only word I can come up with. And the top of the A, they're talking about intentional letter forms that keep Portland weird. Sure, yeah, it is weird. It is weird. It is weird, and they have it. It again, it's just the outline of the letters on the page I'm looking at. I'll link it in the bottom if you guys want to check it out too. Is the background is the bridge, so it does make more sense if you just look at it that way. And then my favorite, the rose icon. The rose icon represents the fire that burns within the passion for our city. Pretty cool stuff. My favorite one, so I'm just gonna say it's good. um, talking about the logo again, it's just the outline, and they have a rose in the background with the actual rose logo there, where the petals become the flame, and the flame rises high, and a powerful nod to the Rose City symbolizing the beauty and strength. Yeah, I mean, it's a great logo. I mean, whoever did this, deserves a raise. Really, really good stuff there. Um, I personally, I don't really care about the little details and like the nods to things. Like, I guess it does mean something to you if you live in that city and you like, I guess, look at the logo all the time. If you're gonna be a fan of the roses, I guess it means something. But like to me, I've seen so many bad logos that just as a what would you call it? A what's the word I would use? Just like anything that is not bad to me or just like looks bad and is clean and the colors go with it and there's some like nod to the city is fine with me. Um anyways, let's move on here. Their interim president of basketball operations has appointed long time. Well, let me read the whole thing for you. And I quote: Portland's WNBA franchise has appointed the longtime Nike executive Claire Hamill, who spent 3 years with Nike in a variety of roles as an interim president of basketball operations. Sources told Hamlin retired from Nike at the end of last year, and the franchise is expected to announce its brand on July 15th, which they did. So, Claire Hamlin, I have no idea who this is, to be quite honest. I know that a lot of Nike people will go into sports, like the actual sport that they helped do apparel for and like shoes and everything like that. I think it's good to keep that connection there because who knows, she might have built some connections with some players with her time at Nike. She could bring some players over. Obviously, Nike is the supplier of jerseys and apparel and hats for the NBA and the WNBA, so it's a good partnership. Keep it sort of close together and conglomerate, somebody you trust. And the next question for me is who should be the coach? And we're not going to dive too deep into this. We'll dive into it a little bit more once we hear about candidates and like they're interviewing people. But I don't know who should be the coach because it's an interesting flux in the situation you're in as the Portland and as the Roses and the Tempo because you look at a team like the Valkyries, who the inception of the team was this past year and they opened up their arena this past year, and you see how good they're doing, and you think that might be the norm, but usually teams that are expansion teams are bad. Like they're really bad for like the first 2 3 years, and it's only like the third year, the fourth year they really get some talent in there, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they operate and see how who they picked for their team as far as the coach and then the roster in the expansion draft because people have been what am I looking for? People have been like screaming for more roster spots and more teams because WNBA there's so much talent in the WNBA. But I raised that I answered that question with I answered that statement with a question in the form of it's going to be very telling to see how many of these players that people think have talent actually don't have talent and are on one of these expansion teams and still look bad, you know? And it's going to be interesting to see the other side where there are players that obviously deserve a chance that look even better on a team that probably won't be good, but they'll be able to put up shots, get their numbers, and they'll look good. Um, somebody to spearhead that and a coach. I'm trying to think of people related to Portland who have a connection to Portland. And I'm drawing blanks right now, and I think it has to be you have to go the assistant coach route in the WNBA. You have to find an assistant coach in the W that has experience, that's been around a long time, and can knows how to play women's basketball and coach women's basketball because women's basketball is moving more towards the men how the men play, but still it's a different pace. You have to run different schemes. You have to there's more emphasis on the um, the basics of the game and the fundamentals of the game. Even though you have women like Caitlin Clark and Sabrina and Paige stretching the floor and shooting the ball from crazy range, you still have to tell people that's not everybody. Not everybody does that, um, and it's a bit different um, for that. And I just wanna I just wanna read through some of these comments on r/WNBA and see how the fans are feeling because it's just my opinion right now. Let's get some other fans' opinions here. Um, One fan says, I'm not seeing the connection between the word mark and the bridges, but that icon is fantastic, distinctive, relatively simple, and easy to tell what it is. They're talking about the rose with the fire coming off of it. I agree with that one. This one's funny. Petition to rename the Moda Center back to the Rose Garden. I agree with that. WNBA and NBA arenas need to do better with their naming because some of the naming absolutely freaking sucks. Let's see what else we had here. Uh, Another comment says, "Took me a while to realize that was a rose. Thought it was a heart on fire. LOL." I guess yeah. You have to have a keen eye to sort of see that like it's a rose at the bottom. I guess I don't know. Um, this comment says, "I thought they might make it a rose on fire to help the haters see the fire as more Portland. Looks like I was right. I can't tell if I like it or hate it though. Sort of looks like a bad tattoo." But at least they didn't play it safe as where the tempo has gone. The Toronto Tempo, the other expansion team that's coming. Um, want more magenta, less red will be at every game regardless. I think I here's the thing with Nike too is that Nike doesn't do color well the first time around. It's very rare they get the color the first time around. I think they might fade more into the magenta, but I think the red pops. It goes with the Blazers, obviously, so I think they might keep it for the first couple years to keep the sort of brother and sister team going, you know. But I think magenta would be look a bit better here, and it does look like a tattoo you'd see on like a wall. Um, Another comment says, "Okay, this eats zero notes." Another one says, "This rocks." Um, this one says, "Interesting. Hopefully, it's meaningful to the people of the city, but some of it seems kind of forced." This is what I was trying to say. Thank you. This is from Room Temp Coffee on r/WNBA. I agree with that. Yeah. Hey, as long as like the 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 people that actually like live there and have to see this logo all the time, it's gonna be plastered and painted on like murals and obviously around the arena and around the city. Hopefully, as long as they like it, it doesn't really matter what I think. I think I would give this. Oh, let me say, I'll give the top logo and word mark slash font. I'd give that a 8 out of 10. I would give this fire logo a 9. I would give the P like a 6, and I would give the bottom one, Portland Fire, in just the red lettering, like an 8. I think they hit it out of the park though. Really, really hit it out of the park. Um, this one says, "I still don't like the rose. It's sloppy and ugly." I think this is my favorite logo in the WNBA. Another fan says, um, "This might be my favorite one." I have to see the jerseys. I'm not gonna say anything. I have to see the jerseys. That's what I'm saying. I have to see I have to see the jerseys. Um, Oh, this one's a great one. This comment says, "Kind of looks like the Adidas D Rose logo." It does. It does. That's what it reminded me of. I was trying to think of it. I couldn't think of it. It does. That's a good one. Let's see. This one says, "I hate the marketing bullshit so damn much." Hey, marketing sells jerseys, man. It sells jerseys. It's the nature of the beast. It's a business, you know. You kind of have to. You have to. How do you say? You have to satiate the people that are buying this team in the sense of like they want their returns. They're already putting so much money into the team, bringing the team in. The least you could do is like buy the freaking jersey, you know, and I can make some of my money back in the first year, you know. I do want to also read this article by ESPN's Kendra Andrews. This was posted yesterday, and then we'll move on to WNBA All-Star stuff. I want to read some of these excerpts from this article. Um, This says the Portland Fire are back, and I quote, "As a city that has long championed women's sports, Portland is ready to reclaim its place in the WNBA and reunite its connection to the game on the world stage." Portland's interim president Claire Hamill said in a statement, end quote, start quote, "We are thrilled to complete the journey of bringing the professional women's basketball back to the Rose City while honoring the legacy of the original franchise to blaze a new and bold path forward, end quote. Um, they're just talking about the logo here. Uh, it says Portland was awarded the league's 15th team last year under the leadership of Alex Bathel and Liz Bathel, merge of RAJ Sports. I don't know what that is. And I quote, Portland has long stood at the forefront of women's sports with nearly 11,000 season tickets deposited to this date. This community has made it clear they're ready to embrace the return of women's professional basketball. End quote. Start quote. We are proud to reignite the Portland Fire and cannot wait to welcome new and longtime fans to the Moda Center in 2026. Um, yeah, and those are really the Sparks Note versions of it. If you want to read the full article, I'll link it down below. I don't like to read everybody's full article because that's like their journalism and stuff. Um, anyways, right here at the end, let's talk about WNBA All Star Weekend stuff. As I'm recording this, we last night we saw Caitlin Clark get injured, who was like the main this is a bad word, but like the main attraction for WNBA All Star Weekend because it's in her city, it's in her team's arena, um, it's in Indiana, so it's sort of bittersweet. She did go down with re-injuring what appears to be her groin area, so that's unfortunate. There is no. She is questionable for. Is it tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. They play, or it might be tonight. They play the Liberty at some point in the next 72 hours. So my guess is she's not going to play in that game, and they're gonna try to get her ready for NBA All Star or WNBA All Star Weekend because they kind of need her to be out there. And I'm not saying she needs to play on the injury, and they don't play 100% the All Star game, so she might be able to sneak out there, play like a couple minutes, and then like just be there, still be involved in the game. That being said, what the hell? Um, that being said, Caitlin Clark was scheduled to participate in the WNBA shootout in the 3 point contest. If I could pull up the list here. All right, I got the list. It took a minute to load. So there are 5 people competing. There was some talk that like there are less people competing in this year's 3 point contest compared to last year and both these events. I would say to that, my only theory is that they are playing more games this season. I would suspect that some people didn't want to do these events and stuff because the season is a bit longer and they need that rest, which I'm not going to begrudge. So that's the only reason I think there's only 5 people in both these contests. First up, like I mentioned, Caitlin Clark 3 point contest, Alicia Gray 3 point contest, Sabrina Ionescu 3 point contest, Kelsey Plum, shout out KP, 3 point contest, and the rookie Sonia Citron. Um, when it comes down to this sort of stuff, I'm really bad at picking it. When I did the NBA 3 point contest and all that All Star Weekend stuff, I had picked Tyler Hero, and he did okay. He didn't do great. So take my opinion with this stuff with a grain of salt, because literally, the night that you come to the arena and you shoot and you feel good or you feel bad determines everything. It doesn't matter 3 point percentage, whatever. As long as you can shoot the ball and you see it go in, you have an opportunity to win. So, out of these 5 women, who do I think would win it? With Caitlin Clark being injured or not 100%, I'm gonna discount her. I'm not gonna give her the nod. Um, Kelsey Plum stunk it up one time in the 3 point contest. She might be looking for redemption. Sabrina Nescu, the pioneer of the 3 ball in the WNBA, I would say, back all the way when she got drafted. Um, Probably the favorite right now. I mean, Alicia Gray's the reigning champion. Don't get me wrong. So she could definitely she's probably the betting odds favorite, and then Sabrina, and then Sonia. I'm gonna pick between my 2 favorites to win this are Kelsey Plum and Sonia Citron. Um, I think KP's looking for some redemption. I don't think she's been shooting it the best this year, but I think just taking it off the rack and shooting with nobody in front of you, how could it go wrong? And then Sonia, rookie, doesn't know any better, just gonna go out there and try her best and just blind confidence, I guess, you know? So yeah, those are my two picks. That is on Friday, July 10th at 8 p.m. on ESPN. And then we have the skills competition. Now, let me say this as a statement, as a barrier to entry for my opinions coming up. I think the skills contest sucks in the NBA, and I think it sucks in almost every sport. Because these are professional basketball players, like they're just goofing around. They don't really care. They're just having fun. It really doesn't matter to them. That being said, however, let me give you the contestants here. Um, you have Skylar Diggins, you have Erica Wheeler, you have Courtney Williams, you have Natasha Cloud, and you have Alicia Gray participating in both. Um, Pretty cool. Has that ever been? No, that's been done before. I was about to say it hasn't been done before, but it probably has been done before. Now again, skills competition, they're goofing, they're having fun. It's a friendly competition, and they're all professionals. They all know how to dribble the ball. They all know how to pass it. They all know how to lay it up. They all know how to shoot a three. Like it's basic stuff. The question becomes who wants it the most? Who is the most skilled? I think obviously again the betting favorite would probably be Alicia Gray. Um, I think a dark horse to win it would be Natasha Cloud. I think she's really skillful, but I think for me right now it's between Courtney Williams and Skylar Diggins, and I'm gonna go Skylar Diggins, man. I think Skylar Diggins can win this easily, running away. Um, I don't want to discount Erica Wheeler or Alicia Gray, but I feel like these smaller guards and these more like athletic guards have more like an easier time completing it and doing it in a faster manner and not like dribbling it off their foot or like missing an easy layup. Like I think some of these things you have to take into account. Um, and it was also announced that's all the event stuff. The game will be the next day, I believe. That event will also be at 8 p.m. on ESPN. They also announced the replacement for um, Howard from Atlanta. Um, Kayla McBride will take her spot in the All Star game, so that's interesting. A lot of people were parlaying for Brittany Sykes. I don't really care. It's a replacement. You're an All Star. You're an All Star. I think Brittany does deserve it, but I think just it's politics. When it comes to this sort of stuff, it's politics and who the coaches want, who the commissioner wants. It's politics. It's a messy thing, and it's not really something to get into. But that's it for All Star Weekend stuff. I do want to tag in here right at the end and say about the Caitlin Clark stuff I said earlier or midway through the video. Um, I'll talk about because that game I did want to talk about the game in this video, but at the end it just became such an interesting game because of like things the ref said. Caitlin Clark got into it with a ref. She got injured then, and like we haven't heard any reports about anything coming out. So I just want to wait a little bit, see what happens with that, and then we'll talk about it in a future video during WNBA All Star break, hopefully. So yes, that is it. That is the video. Welcome to the WNBA Portland Fire. Can't wait to see you in 2026. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.